one guy without a Super Bowl.
George, Rutschman is an interesting one here. I mean, this was somebody that we were told was going to be a superstar. I feel like we've done this now with back-to-back young catchers on Baltimore that they've taken. They've taken Matt Wieters. Remember when they took him super high and everyone thought he was the second coming? Then they took Adley Rutschman. I guess the good news is they have Sam Basallo, who's supposed to be fantastic too, but can't whiff on three like that, can you?
Fantasy Sports Today, only on SportsGrid.
Class is in session. Today, let's talk about the teaser. A teaser is a multi-leg bet where you shift the point spread in your favor. You get better numbers, but every selection has to win. It doesn't matter what you bet if you don't have the insights. Tune into SportsGrid and get ahead of the class.
Last year, bumped up 10% for the season tickets here. The Bears this year going up by 13.5%. When is too much where it just comes like, I'm just going to sit at home on my couch and not be charged anything and enjoy my day, Joe?
Yeah, exactly. Well, you'll see it because there'll be a lot of empty seats in that stadium, Donnie, and then you'll know when the line has been drawn.
The early line, only on SportsGrid.
I ended up adding this since our show started here, Rohit, but his points prop tonight at 20.5 is the same number from the Iowa State game. That's a bit of a mistake, right? When we consider the gap in opponents here. I think Peterson specifically steps up. He needs to. I think he kind of owes this team a great performance.
Game time decisions, only.
Game time decisions. Look, we just get right to it here. I tweeted it out. Chris Kofsky, behind the scenes, one of the excellent producers on this show, with a game of the year. Is it the most he's liked the game? I don't know. It doesn't really matter. It's the most important bet he's given out on this show. It's not in the best bet segment. It's starting right now. It's Furman against the Citadel. It's a little SoCon action. It is a Citadel first half team total under 29.5. Get your rider hats on and lock in for some defense in the SoCon. Listen, you could ask a lot of questions about the process to finding this wager. I don't appreciate those questions right now. What I appreciate is if you get in the mix with us, the whole team's on it. There's a little bit of stress. Because why are we doing this? It's the kind of game that makes me think about what is exactly our job here on this show. Is it our job to cap tonight's games? That's a miss. Oh, that was the other team. Okay. Is it our job to, despite the fact that my team isn't up here with me each and every night, but, is that we have all of this camaraderie? Is it to entertain you? Is it to bet these games and allow you to see us bet these games? It's probably all of it combined. Here's what I know. This is a group, like many groups, who prefers it over. So when out of nowhere, one of the guys steps up with a Citadel first half team total under, you don't have choices. You don't really bother with capping the game too much. You lock in. You root the under in. First three ball went up, and folks were up against it. That's all I can tell you from what I am seeing early on here in the SoCon. Now, the games that you will actually be betting tonight, still college basketball, certainly. Let me make sure I appropriately let you all know you are live here on SportsGrid on Game Time Decisions. Kevin Walsh with you from the Decisions Desk, where we look to lock in for UConn St. John's, a huge top 15 matchup in the Big East, where St. John's would pretty much, with a win, clinch a Big East championship. Not literally, but they would go up 2 games on UConn. owning the head-to-head because they've already beaten UConn once, and it would likely slash Husky title, or excuse me, Red Storm title prices. A price that still varies from shop to shop, one that I've told you many times I am involved in at 70-1. For UConn, though, there's a bit more on the line, perhaps. A Big East regular season trophy in the grand scheme is meaningless. UConn needs to kind of validate who they are once again all of a sudden. It is a down year in the Big East. It's a really down year, in fact, in the Big East. How many teams are they sending to the tournament? 3, I'm pretty sure that's it. And UConn just beat Villanova at Villanova, who's one of those 3. But having lost to St. John's at St. John's, and the fact that kind of everything since this UConn group got out of the out-of-conference portion of it is kind of dismissed to a down Big East, a win here tonight for UConn feels important. I think it is important, so you're going to see them put their best foot forward. There is no doubt about that. Your number tonight is 5.5. My best bet will come from this game. It is a player prop, though, between the Huskies and the Red Storm. What you also have tonight is another team who I am involved with in the national championship market preseason. It is the bet that I am most confident in and most excited about, and it is a bet on the defending champion Florida Gators, who are right now being positioned, I think, by the market to be on upset alert. The numbers in the college game don't lie. And when you see a ranked team on the road against an unranked team laying a number that feels a bit light, the eyebrows go up. The game here, though, for the Gators with the trip to Texas is really fascinating because Florida opened at 7.5 and did pop at 5.5 a few times. I was kind of ready to move past the fear and just roll with Florida. But the 5.5s were long gone, and the 6.5s didn't appeal to me. I thought we'd go back the other direction. We're now deadlocked at 7.5 once again. I am ready and willing to back Florida tonight. Spoiler off the top here. But I want that 6.5. I do. And if I don't get it, then maybe there will be a moment tonight where we look at Florida live. There's some other big SEC games on this slate tonight. Vanderbilt against Georgia, Alabama against Miss State, and Arkansas with an interesting one late night against Texas A&M. For those of you looking to bet the association tonight, this slate has been somewhat sullied with the NBA and their back-to-backs, the Pistons and the Thunder. Oh, how fun that sounds. It's Detroit laying 10.5. I assume Chet Holmgren does not play. He is listed as doubtful as he was questionable yesterday against Toronto, and I thought quite surprisingly did play in that game. The Pistons off of a loss to the Oklahoma City Thunder, to the San Antonio Spurs, will look to bounce back at home. San Antonio now plays Toronto on the road. Toronto, though, off the second leg of a back-to-back, so we get a 6.5-point number. 2 teams on a back-to-back tonight are the Bucks and the Cavs. I thought the Cavs were in a pretty good spot, and in fact, I found the 8.5 on Cleveland to be a little bit light. Maybe the books knew something that old K-Dubs did not know. I had positioned Cleveland as a moneyline parlay piece tonight, and then Donovan Mitchell was ruled out, and then Evan Mobley was ruled out, and James Harden was confirmed to have a thumb fracture, and he's the one who's not been ruled out. Don't even know what's going on. The bets are in. I'll root them in all the same, but I can't send you to the window as I thought Cleveland was going to kind of put their head down, best foot forward, and look to make a statement here tonight against Milwaukee. I don't have that same, they can't stop missing threes in this game. I do not have that same confidence right now. Potentially the best NBA game tonight is Denver and Boston. It is Nikola Jokic and Jaylen Brown. Mr. MVP in the last half decade of this league, and a guy who so desperately would love to take that spot in Jaylen Brown. Brown is one of the players whose name is being thrust into the conversation, I think in large part to we think it's up for grabs if both Shea and Jokic do not meet the game's requirement. Boston, though, has been pretty cautious with Jaylen Brown this year. A handful of times he sits the front or back end of a back-to-back. He has played 51 of their right now 57 games. With 6 missed, he has 11 of breathing room. It would be surprising if JB didn't meet the requirement, but nevertheless, the situation here is more about who really makes the statement tonight? Is it Denver at home? Hey, this is still going to be a really tough place for teams to come in and win? Or does Boston all of a sudden say, we're one of the best teams in the league right now, no qualifiers, and when Tatum comes back, we might be the best team in basketball? It's interesting. What's also interesting is the NHL is back. Off of the Winter Olympics, I think there will be a bit of an appetite for the slate tonight. I imagine there will be a ton, if not the most bet prop tonight will be Jack Hughes, anytime goal scorer for New Jersey. You do have Connor McDavid and the Oilers in action later tonight. But let's get to your college basketball board after a quick break right here on SportsGrid.
You have we don't know we're going to play an arbitration for our top pitcher in school ball. He gets the $30 million. You go and get Valdez, who's 32 years old, and you pay 3 years, $115. Now you have a legitimate 1-2 punch and still have Flaherty in that lineup as well. If you're looking at a move singularly that I didn't expect to happen here and loved it, Detroit's move to get Framber Valdez, sensational for me.
Pro Baseball Today, only on SportsGrid.
Expectations were big for this team coming into this season. They've struggled to live up to them. When you think about the 4 losses for Purdue, they've really felt ugly. Iowa State smashed this team in their building. They dropped the game to UCLA and followed it up by losing at home to Illinois.
Game time decisions, only on SportsGrid.
I have my own account. I don't need to have any. He didn't say any of that. So I'm of the belief that if someone accuses you of something and you don't deny it, there's a reason you didn't deny it. Because you kind of feel like they got me. And yes, I'm not going to tell you I did it, but I did it.
Yeah.
Don't you think so?
The Craig Carton Show, only on SportsGrid.
Yeah, and with the Clippers, Craig, it feels like Kawhi is on an island. We saw him ball out in the All-Star game the other day. Kawhi was very impressive, and he's had a fantastic season. I think when you look at the Clippers, if the Clippers' record was better, but he's still James Harden, you would be talking about Kawhi as an MVP candidate. He's been one of the best players in the league in terms of how he's been playing. He's been fantastic.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
Game time decisions. Tick, 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 tick. My, oh, my. We're going to need some stops here from Furman at the Citadel with 11 through 6. Midway through the midway, we're not on pace. I can tell you that much. Yet, I will also say nothing about the Citadel offense looks scary. So, maybe we're not done yet. Let's talk some UConn St. John's here. Really excited for this one tonight, where UConn at 5.5, I totally get the play. I myself am not going to lay it with the Huskies tonight. I like this St. John's team as someone who backed them in the market. I'll be rooting for them in this game. And I'm not going to, it doesn't mean I'll never bet against St. John's. I did as much actually in their most recent game against Creighton. I thought that was an incredibly impressive performance by St. John's. I think they're going to be really, focused and excited. I think St. John's will feel as if they can make a statement as much as UConn could make a statement here, right? For St. John's, you were the preseason 15. You're right now 22-5, 15-1 in Big East play, and that's only been able to get you up to 15 in an AP poll. And you may not be all too concerned with an AP poll, but when it comes to tournament seeding, St. John's isn't set up perfectly. They may be a 5 seed, where they may think to themselves, if we pull off a win here at UConn, could we be in the mix for a 3 line, potentially? I think that's on the board. And I think that's something for us to watch for here, just as the remainder of Big East play continues. Now, I am not involved with the side, nor the total. There's quite a bit of movement here from the somewhat recent meeting of these teams. The UConn was like a 1.5-point favorite at St. John's. I do wonder if the home court advantage at the Garden's a bit mitigated because it's the Garden. UConn could put in still a good percentage of people into that crowd. Your total came up from that last meeting. There were 153 points in a game that was booked at about 142.5, 143.5. We're sitting right now 145.5, 146 and a half. Where I find the most value in this game to be, and it is my best bet on this slate tonight, as the Citadel is going to score a season high in first half points. It is fine. No, it is not. It is fine. It is fine. Solo Ball over 12.5 points. Ball in a bounce back spot. I'm sure that'll surprise no one. He has scored under 10 in consecutive games. You typically can bank on Solo Ball the next game, though, being fantastic. But I like betting Solo Ball in a big spot. Go back to the out of conference. Ball against the 5 ranked opponents that UConn played, scored over this 12.5 number in 4 of the 5. He averages 15 points per game at home this season and has scored in 8 home conference games, 13 or more in 5 of the 8. So those really, really track. But what I also think tracks is how you are supposed to score against St. John's, which is from beyond the arc. It suggests that this should then be bigger nights for either Solo Ball or the freshman Braylon Mullins. Mullins went 3 of 7 from beyond the arc in the first meeting against St. John's. He also committed 4 fouls, which has started a streak of games for Braylon Mullins where he can't stop fouling. For a non-big man to have committed at least 4 fouls in 5 straight games is outrageous. And I want nothing to do with Mullins in a game that projects to have this tempo and this amount of size. I'm good. If he fouls out, better for us who are playing Solo Ball in this game, who I think tonight is not just live to sneak through 12.5. I think we could see a vintage Solo Ball 20, maybe even a 25-point night here at home. I think he is going to be great in this game. This game, though, really being treated like the clear-cut game of the night from our team, and I think they're spot on to do just that. Chris likes the over, played it at 144.5. Went there last time. Don't mind the look. UConn usually, I think, up against the pacier teams, likes the opportunity for, running and high-scoring games. AJ's going to lay those 5.5 points with UConn. And then, I guess that's how you know the hockey's back, right? Josh Doan, did he play at the Olympics? I assume not. Well, otherwise, I assume we would have been finding ways to have GTD live during whatever game he would have been playing in. And we would have been giving out best bets for points and goals and assists. But we are back. And that means Josh Doan for a point is back as the Sabres are here in New Jersey. And we are here with Josh Doan once again back on the program. Now, I mentioned off the top that I am looking to bet Florida, but at 6.5. I think that it is possible those numbers come back. The game is at 7 o'clock. I will continue to be patient and see if those numbers appear on the Florida Gators. I will just say, even if I don't have a bet in the game, just kind of through capping it, these teams each somewhat recently went to Georgia. Florida was a 8.5-point road favorite. Texas was a 2.5-point road underdog. Court advantage is not worth 5.5, 6 points, people. This number's just too far gone. If we can get back to where I think it should be. The other thing is, Texas right now is one of the best offenses in the country. Very impressive. Florida is not just one of the best defenses in college basketball. It is so by far and away the best defense in this conference. It's not funny. Florida is right now 4th in defensive efficiency. Tennessee is the only other team inside the top 20 in the SEC. There are only 4 teams in the top 40 defensively in the SEC. Florida, I think, defensively can really handle business in this game. I have bet Texas A&M plus the 8.5 tonight against Arkansas. When you take a look here, each of these teams recently hosted Missouri. That, I think, would suggest on a neutral, this would be about Arkansas -2. Even if you think it should be Arkansas -4. I just think some of the home court prices have gotten a little out of control here. A&M's been good with your up and down teams in the SEC, Bama, Georgia. So I think that A&M can be good here tonight and stay inside that number with the Razorbacks. We go to the NBA card after a quick break. We're live with you here on a Wednesday night on SportsGrid.
You have like, oh, well, we don't know, we're going to play an arbitration for our top pitcher in school ball. He gets the $30 million. You go and get Valdez, who's 32 years old, and you pay 3 years, $115. Now you have a legitimate 1-2 punch and still have Flaherty in that lineup as well. If you're looking at a move singularly that I didn't expect to happen here and loved it, Detroit's move to get Framber Valdez, sensational for me.
Pro Baseball Today, only on SportsGrid.
Expectations were big for this team coming into this season. They've struggled to live up to them. When you think about the 4 losses for Purdue, they've really felt ugly. Iowa State smashed this team in their building. They dropped the game to UCLA and followed it up by losing at home to Illinois.
Game time decisions, only on SportsGrid.
I have my own account. I don't need to have any. He didn't say any of that. So I'm of the belief that if someone accuses you of something and you don't deny it, there's a reason you didn't deny it. Because you kind of feel like they got me. And yes, I'm not going to tell you I did it, but I did it.
Yeah.
Don't you think so?
The Craig Carden Show, only on SportsGrid.
Yeah, and with the Clippers, Craig, it feels like Kawhi is on an island. We saw him ball out in the All-Star game the other day. Kawhi was very impressive, and he's had a fantastic season. I think when you look at the Clippers, if the Clippers' record was better, but he's still a James Harden, you would be talking about Kawhi as an MVP candidate. He's been one of the best players in the league in terms of how he's been playing. He's been fantastic.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
All right, welcome in. 6 minutes on how terrible Chris is at capping Citadel Furman games. This is ridiculous. Citadel has 22 points. Now, that's canceled. Hold on a second. Let's get the shooting splits here for the Citadel, who feels like they've roughly made every shot they've taken. 64% from the field, 50% from beyond the arc, and 100% from the line. Braxton Williams with 14 points. You have to ask yourself if you're Furman. Yeah, I mean, let's get this on the board. Go ahead. You want to talk about a couple of pigs in the back, right? They stick me with the slop, and they want to give everybody else more slop. IU, one of the fastest teams in college basketball, I'll tell you that much. We'll be rooting this. I'll tell you this. I'm full Lisi about it. If I'm not going to win, nobody's going to win. We're rooting that under the number. That's just that story. In the horizon, I assume. Let's get eyeballs on this game against Oakland. Here we go, Golden Grizz. Here we go, defense. It was unbelievable. Really. I've been working on a top secret mission to get the guys in the back here involved on the show. I'm starting to think Chris is cutting wires. He doesn't want to come up here and face the music with a pick like this. This is unbelievable to watch right now. I don't even know what the plan is here. It does feel like we're going to lose this close still, I will say that. Like, there truly is still yet to be a moment where anything the Citadel does offensively looks good. Whatever. We'll root it in. That's all we can do. Shall we talk some... Oh! The 6.5 popped over on DraftKings for Florida, so we're in. -115. Gators, chomp, chomp. Chomp, chomp. Gators rule. If you guys needed any more push, Chris likes Texas. So we'll just smash. You know what? Tonight, maybe we make Chris's dreams come true and we just give out his full card. And then we label it the people's best bets. All right, let's get involved with the NBA tonight here. As far as a prop goes, I like Dylan Harper over the 9.5. I think we're getting a light number here on Harper. This was earlier today around a -120, -125 price. When you look at the Spurs here on the road against this Raptors team, who are on the second leg of a back-to-back, blowout potential is on the board, and it could see Harper's minutes uptick. I think Dylan will get back to the 22, 24, maybe even 28 minutes that we had been seeing from him. He only got 18 up against Detroit. That was a finals preview environment type of thing where he didn't play great, and they were probably a little bit tighter with those minutes. Harper, over his last 10 games, has scored 10 or more in 8 of them and has not missed in consecutive games off of the miss against Detroit. I think we've got a real nice bounce back spot here for the number 2 overall pick on the road against the Toronto Raptors. My favorite game on this board tonight is Denver and Boston, and it is basically the third time in a row that I am trying to figure out this Celtics-Lakers combination. What do I mean? I saw the Lakers and the Celtics play over the weekend and entered into that game thinking that the Lakers at home with their trio would have the chance to make somewhat of a statement. Very wrong. More on that later. I, though, thought that while the Lakers were heavily exposed in that game, their offense would respond against Orlando. And I thought that team total was a bit light. Wrong again. Again, more on the Lakers later. But the connective tissue continues to run. When Boston played LA, that total was 230.5. Why in the world would we get a lower number here tonight with Denver coming in? Denver is miles better offensively than the LA Lakers. Like, miles better. Denver right now is the number 1 offensive rating in basketball. It's, again, why, if Jokic meets the minimum, I think there's still a very good chance that he just wins league MVP. And Denver, defensively, has been Civ-esque, especially without Aaron Gordon and without Peyton Watson. This team can't guard. It's interesting, but the 228.5, that dropping number, it's almost really to, I think, make me think if this game does go under, it's because Boston steamrolled Denver, and maybe they will. Boston is playing great basketball. They've been phenomenal out of the break. They're flawless 3-0, not just straight up, but against the number. And in one of those games, they didn't even have Jaylen Brown. But I think this is a game tonight where both teams could give you 120. I think this game has that scoring atmosphere, and I'm going to be backing that up at the window. So give me over 228.5, Denver, Boston. Let's pause it on the hoop side of things and get over to the ice with a little bit of help here tonight. It's Game Time Decisions. We are live with you on a Wednesday night on SportsGrid.
you have like, oh, well, we don't know, we're going to play an arbitration for our top pitcher in school ball. He gets the $30 million. You go and get Valdez, who's 32 years old, and you pay him 3 years, $115. Now you have a legitimate 1-2 punch and still have Flaherty in that lineup as well. If you're looking at a move singularly that I didn't expect to happen here and loved it, Detroit's move to get Framber Valdez, sensational for me.
Pro Baseball Today, only on SportsGrid.
The expectations were big for this team coming into this season. They've struggled to live up to them. When you think about the 4 losses for Purdue, they've really felt ugly. Iowa State smashed this team in their building. They dropped the game to UCLA and followed it up by losing at home to Illinois.
Game time decisions, only on SportsGrid.
I have my own account. I don't need to have any. He didn't say any of that. So I'm of the belief that if someone accuses you of something and you don't deny it, there's a reason you didn't deny it. Because you kind of feel like they got me. And yes, I'm not going to tell you I did it, but I did it.
Yeah.
Don't you think so?
The Craig Carden Show, only on SportsGrid.
Yeah, and with the Clippers, Craig, it feels like Kawhi is on an island. We saw him ball out in the All-Star game the other day. Kawhi was very impressive, and he's had a fantastic season. I think when you look at the Clippers, if the Clippers' record was better, but he's still James Harden, you would be talking about Kawhi as an MVP candidate. He's been one of the best players in the league in terms of how he's been playing. He's been fantastic.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
All right, so the reality is we're all in the hole because the Citadel is going to fly through a first-half team total, and that is, and let's be very clear, all Chris's fault. He would want all the credit. He would want all the credit if it came in. So let's be real. Am I going to be the person to help us get out of the hole? Probably not. Is it going to be anybody in the back? Not so sure. So we got a little bit of help here. On the ice tonight is Josh Ingles helping us out here. Does great work over at Covers. Josh, man, we really appreciate it.
No problem. Thanks for bringing me on maybe the most difficult night to handicap hockey.
I'm certainly not going to do it, right? I mean, I already don't know what I'm doing. Can you give us a bit of an idea, though, of in which ways tonight is tricky? Obviously, it's the Olympic break. We just haven't seen these teams in a long time, but how specifically that can throw things off?
Looking back to last year, obviously small sample size after the 4 nations, I think we came back, we had a 14, maybe 13 game slate. And I think dogs went like 9-4, overs hit. The average was like 6.6 goals per game in that slate. I'm not saying that that's a carryover, but when you ramp up, slow down, and then have to ramp up again because the condensed schedule this year has been an absolute gauntlet, you might get sloppy hockey. And there's the old adage in hockey: does sloppy hockey equal tight hockey? Does it equal loose hockey? I think it leans to a little more scoring and a little value in the dogs. But at the end of the day, we still have to find out what's priced in, because some books have already priced in the spots where people think there's value, and there might not be as much as they think.
Yeah, the one game tonight, and I don't know if this is true or not, but I imagine there will be an abnormal amount of handle on Jack Hughes to score. That's just my assumption off of him scoring the goal on Sunday morning. Are you involved with that matchup tonight between the Devils and the Sabres at all?
I'm amazed that Buffalo isn't a bigger favorite considering the issues that New Jersey A's had all year. And when you come back from it, the legs and the work that they've put into some of the bodies in that team. Obviously, Tage Thompson on the Buffalo side is questionable. Jack Hughes didn't practice today. It was actually Luke Hughes in a spot in the power play 1 marker. So we'll see if he goes. Likely, but then you have like Nico Hischier, Jesper Brett, Timo Meyer, all guys who had big minutes over in Italy. And Meyer and Siegenthaler on the blue line, they got stuck with travel issues, so they haven't really had much time to practice. Seeing Jacob Markstrom get the day off with Jake Allen going. Buffalo was one of the best teams going into the break. 21-5-2 for one of the most surprising teams in all of hockey this year. I do like them, but if I'm holding Buffalo right now and the line's going on the New Jersey side as it has all morning, kind of from like even money, or sorry, to a pick -110 to like -115, I'm a little worried. Buffalo is the better team on paper in this spot, but we might see a bit of a reset across the league.
Yeah, and again, I might be very out of my depth with this, but I just wonder if the Devils, I don't know if there's enough action on a regular hockey slate for there to be like true public sides. And obviously, a bigger bet is going to probably move things in a bunch of public bets. I just wonder if the Devils become a bit of a darling at all off
No,
of the
I don't
Olympic
think so.
stuff.
I know
Josh.
what you're trying to say, right? Like
Yeah.
the idea of like Jack Hughes and what it means to the U.S. hockey program, and let's back that. I don't see it. I haven't really seen the number move. It was -115 kind of this morning. It hasn't really pushed too much, not as much as like we've seen in like the Edmonton game where Connor McDavid's going to play, and that's gone from like -115 to -125.
Mhm.
It's been a very stale line all day.
Okay.
And if you know anything about the hockey market, it takes a lot to move. Public stuff doesn't really move it. Like you could get like a guy, like a player point guy, a guy for a player point prop over. He could go from a
Yeah.
third line. He could be elevated to power play one top line, and his point prop might move 10 points. It's about as slow as the markets you'll see across the major four sports for sure.
All right, that's why I asked. It's great insight. Tampa Bay, Toronto tonight. You mentioned maybe some of these dogs that could bark. Is this one of the games that you're going to be looking to get involved with?
+180, +185. Absolutely. Toronto's absolutely owned Tampa Bay this year, too. 8-2 straight up in the last 10 meetings, including playoffs. The last time they played before Christmas, Toronto 2-0 shutout, 1-0 game with the empty netter to make it 2-0. There is some issues, and these are the difficult things that you have to deal with when you're talking about laying your own money down. John Cooper, the coach of the Tampa Bay Lightning, the coach of Team Canada, he lost his dad today. Awful news, terrible news. He'll step aside. Now, there you get into the idea. Does that make them a better team? Does that make them a motivated team? Or does, on paper strategically, when you take the best coach away from his bench, does that make a team worse? And it's not a comfortable thing to talk about, but at the end of the day, this is what we do.
Yeah.
And I think John Cooper stepping away from this day hurts this team. But you also have to add in, you got Victor Hedman, who was playing big minutes. He comes back injured. You have Braden Point he's coming back. He hasn't played since before the break. He was injured. Sorelli questionable as well. There are some big question marks with Tampa Bay. And in a spot where maybe we have a big reset, and I think Tampa Bay's maybe overblown in terms of what their projection is, +180 for a Toronto team that gets Austin Matthews back, that gets to bring that gold medal into the locker room, could also be a motivating factor. So stick taps for John Cooper and his family, obviously, but +180 on that side, that's a very big number to pass up.
Yeah, that's fair enough. I'm curious, do we have a good read on what, how much is Connor McDavid supposed to play relative to his usual workload in a game like this tonight?
I don't think there'll be an angrier human being in the history of sports than Connor McDavid getting back to the ice. If Connor McDavid is asked to play every 1/3 shift, maybe 17, 18 minutes, sure. They got to play again tomorrow too as well. So I actually thought that maybe he'd be sitting down. You saw Connor McDavid today on the media side of things, just getting some absolute donkey questions from the media. He wanted nothing to do with it. All he wants to do is get back on the ice. He's +900 for MVP right now. He could put this team on his back, win a division. This is the best price you'll see on Connor McDavid props across the board, future markets. I do like him. But in saying that, he might get a break today. Anaheim, I'm holding Anaheim -105. Connor McDavid did practice today. That moves the line. Nobody moves the line as much as Connor McDavid. He's probably worth 35 points when maybe another high-end guy be 25. So we're starting to see it the other way. You can get Anaheim maybe +110, +105. Their coach, Joel Quinn, for game number 1,000. Victory 1,000 today, which is a massive thing because there's things in the locker room in hockey called money on the board. Coach isn't allowed to put money on the board, but the players are. They'll match. They'll put money on the board. They win the game. Everybody pays into that. It goes to trainers. It goes to dinners. It goes to team parties. That's the motivating thing behind the locker room. Your 1,000th win is massive, and I believe only one other coach in Scotty Bowman has reached that milestone in the NHL.
Man, that's interesting. I'm also just kind of, looking up some of the things that were asked to Connor McDavid, who's just a fascinating figure, but so clearly an all-time great. Josh, before we let you get out of here, and we really, really do appreciate it, man. I believe you have something else that you like in this game tonight between the Kings and the Golden Knights?
Panarin's making his first game back, and when you're looking for value, don't look in the spot where everybody's doing the magic trick. Look on the other side. Look on the sleight of hand. So he'll be skating with Adrian Kempe and Alex Lafreniere. I think I nailed his name. I can't differentiate between him and Alexis Lafreniere, but Lafreniere is playing between him and Kempe. It's a great spot. He's plus 125 for a point. You won't get power play one with him, but Lafreniere will be centering those two, and he's like plus 265 for an assist. I think how important this has been for Panarin to get onto this team, and he's had to wait so long until making his debut. I think you see something there, and I think this matchup is good for them as well.
Awesome. Josh, we appreciate it so much. @covers_Josh. He's a great follow. Josh Ingles. I got that fully burned in the brain now, Josh. We appreciate it, man. We'll be right back here talking some hoops with Coach James Young next.
Do you have we don't know we're going to play an arbitration for our top pitcher in school. He gets the $30 million. You go and get Valdez, who's 32 years old, and you pay 3 years, $115. Now you have a legitimate 1-2 punch and still have Flaherty in that lineup as well. If you're looking at a move singularly that I didn't expect to happen here and loved it, Detroit's move to get Framber Valdez, sensational for me.
Pro Baseball Today, only on SportsGrid.
Expectations were big for this team coming into this season. They've struggled to live up to them. When you think about the 4 losses for Purdue, they've really felt ugly. Iowa State smashed this team in their building. They dropped the game to UCLA and followed it up by losing at home to Illinois.
Game time decisions, only on SportsGrid.
I have my own account. I don't need to have any. He didn't say any of that. So I'm of the belief that if someone accuses you of something and you don't deny it, there's a reason you didn't deny it. Because you kind of feel like they got me. And yes, I'm not going to tell you I did it, but I did it.
Yeah.
Don't you think so?
The Craig Carton Show, only on SportsGrid.
Yeah, and with the Clippers, Craig, it feels like Kawhi is on an island. We saw him ball out in the All-Star game the other day. Kawhi was very impressive, and he's had a fantastic season. I think when you look at the Clippers, if the Clippers' record was better, but he's still James Harden, you would be talking about Kawhi as an MVP candidate. He's been one of the best players in the league in terms of how he's been playing. He's been fantastic.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
All right, statement time. Statement time. I want to remove some of the blame off of Chris's plate. We haven't lost yet. You knew if we do lose, it's not happened yet. It'll be close. And there it is. It's not his fault. The Citadel is truly one of the worst offenses in the country. I do not think Furman could have played any worse. And this thing is still sneaking over the listed first half team total. It's a shame to start the show on a loser. It's not what we wanted, but we simply change the narrative. We consider it a sacrifice, and we just go unbeaten on the rest of the card. This Citadel team is so bad, which now means Furman is so bad. I cannot stress, incompetence drives me crazy in relation to sports. And what I am seeing is something that is now 0% Chris's fault. There's one good player, arguably, at least in this game on the Citadel, Braxton Williams, who's made all 4 of the threes for the Citadel. They left him so open. I mean, it's going to go over by 2. You know what, folks? It's a good chance, though, to bring in someone who I have found to be pretty on it right now in the college game. I mean, always great analysis and great insight. The picks feel pretty hot. It's my College Basketball Today co-host, Coach James Young. JY, man, it is great to see you on a Wednesday night where you knew we would need your services, man. It is UConn and St. John's. It's a big one.
Oh, it's a big one. Kevin, I mean, go ahead. I'm trying to get tickets this Saturday to Villanova, St. John's, and both of my connections said you can't get in the building. But this is a big one tonight in the Big East. And for a St. John's team, Kevin, that, let's be honest, I don't know. They were playing good basketball. But that fight, melee, whatever you want to call that, versus Providence, they were down 40-39. And at that point, from that point forward, Kevin, they have been bludgeoning teams, including a 9-point win earlier this year versus UConn. So this is a big matchup versus the 2 best teams in the Big East. And this game, Kevin, in my opinion, has major, not just Big East tournament, major NCAA tournament ramifications. If St. John's can go to Hartford and get a win, that is huge, especially with round 3 going to be at the Guard most likely in the Big East Finals.
It's really big for tournament seeding, right, JY? You know, we know that UConn is a team who has kind of hung around the potential 1 line. I think a lot of people think they maybe lost that opportunity with the loss to Creighton. If there's any chance of them salvaging it, though, it's winning out. It's not just here tonight. It's probably winning out, winning the Big East tournament, but they're capable of it. It's UConn. We know they're capable of it. So take me through your analysis of this Big East battle. What's standing out to you, Coach?
It's a lot of points given to St. John's, a team that's really playing fantastic basketball right now, Kevin. I'm going to take the points. I'm going to take the points with St. John's, and there's a myriad of reasons why. Number one, they have the best defensive efficiency in the Big East. I know UConn's number 1 on offense, but I think the way St. John's has been playing as of late, particularly using their bench, they could beat you because they could score. Their defense is top notch. They don't turn the ball over. They're going to win the rebounding battle. And here's the key thing. They get to the free throw line. And winning the rebounding battle and winning the free throw battle is keys to winning games on the road. Now, I'm not saying they're going to win the game. But, Kevin, they're getting too many points. I'm taking St. John's plus a point tonight in a really tightly contested game that I don't think either team separates from one another.
From a player, even if Coach, you are not on their props specifically, because I think there are a bunch of guys on either team that you could be really looking for. Who feels like an X factor for you in this game? Who's the swing guy tonight potentially?
It's the swing guys. It's very simple. It's Terrace Reed versus Zuby Ejiofor. I mean, it's that simple. Zuby is playing at a ridiculous level. He wasn't. It's like getting Mitchell and Jackson and Hopkins. It's like Zuby had to try to like kind of find his way through it. Actually, they all did, and he's starting to play really good basketball. Terrace Reed is such an enigma because there are times I've watched him, I'm like, oh my God, this guy's a double-double machine. And then there's times I watch him, I'm like, is this kid even playing in the game? If UConn's going to win this game, he's got to be on the floor and effective versus Zuby. I just don't see that happening. Look for Zuby Etsford to have a big game, a double-double, might you add.
I am on, we've talked about this already, solo ball tonight, over the 12.5 points prop. One thing, Coach, that stands out to me for UConn is they really do have a bunch of guys that can beat you, right? And give them a big night. They can deal with guys giving them, underwhelming performances. But I wouldn't really know. I don't know if I would call solo ball the X factor. Silas Damari is very interesting to me. In the loss, he had 9 turnovers and is coming off of a 7-turnover game against Villanova. Can Hurley trust him against the best defenses? That is something that I'm really interested in tonight, Coach.
Yeah, and listen, at the end of the day, St. John's is starting to ramp up their pressure. It's amazing. All of us are basically on this game, except Sammy's betting hockey, but we'll talk about that some other time. But I mean there's always got to be, it's always got to be, what they call it, like a black sheep, like some random, but that's okay. This is the game of the night, and it's going to be fantastic basketball, and I think there's going to be, like I said, major implications. Folks, this will come down to the wire.
Yeah, I am really excited to watch this one play out. Coach, though, not going anywhere yet. We're going to get the rest of his card tonight. College, NBA, whatever he might have for us here on this Wednesday night. We are live with you. It is Game Time Decisions on SportsGrid.
You have like, oh, well, we don't know, we're going to play an arbitration for our top pitcher in school ball. He gets the $30 million. You go and get Valdez, who's 32 years old, and you pay him 3 years, $115. Now you have a legitimate 1-2 punch and still have Flaherty in that lineup as well. If you're looking at a move singularly that I didn't expect to happen here and loved it, Detroit's move to get Framber Valdez, sensational for me.
Pro Baseball Today, only on SportsGrid.
Expectations were big for this team coming into this season. They've struggled to live up to them. When you think about the 4 losses for Purdue, they've really felt ugly. Iowa State smashed this team in their building. They dropped the game to UCLA and followed it up by losing at home to Illinois.
Game time decisions, only on SportsGrid.
I have my own account. I don't need to have any. He didn't say any of that. So I'm of the belief that if someone accuses you of something and you don't deny it, there's a reason you didn't deny it. Because you kind of feel like they got me. And yes, I'm not going to tell you I did it, but I did it.
Yeah.
Don't you think so?
The Craig Carden Show, only on SportsGrid.
Yeah, and with the Clippers, Craig, it feels like Kawhi is on the island. We saw him ball out in the All-Star game the other day. Kawhi was very impressive, and he's had a fantastic season. I think when you look at the Clippers, if the Clippers' record was better, but he's still a James Harden, you would be talking about Kawhi as an MVP candidate. He's been one of the best players in the league in terms of how he's been playing. He's been fantastic.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
Game time decisions on a Wednesday night. Coach James Young joining us here. Coach and I are going to talk some NBA at the top of the hour. I want to go through the rest of his college card. He likes the Johnnies plus the points here and a huge game coming up against UConn. Something, though, that JY and I are in lockstep on. I think, I know this is like famous last words, but I think in recent weeks it's been actually good if Coach and I see something similar. JY, I agree with you. I like Florida in this spot against Texas.
Yeah, I love Florida. Kevin, it was about this time last year when this team kind of turn the corner, and they're turning the corner in a different way. I'm laying the 6.5 now, 7.5 points versus Texas, 5-2 against the spread. They have major advantages on both sides of the ball, right? The way they shoot, the way they rebound with those three bigs. And here's the biggest thing. The way Texas literally just gives you the ball with their turnovers, I just think Florida runs away with this. I think Florida wins this game by 10 plus the way they've been playing.
Yeah, I think that some of it is just like the home court advantage is really being baked in here for Texas. I think it also might be a little tough to price Florida still in some ways, Coach, because the gap between them and the rest of this conference right now defensively is massive. And I think it throws maybe the numbers off a little bit. There is another Big East game, though, that I know you like tonight, featuring your favorite, the Villanova Wildcats. They're home and they're playing Butler.
Yeah, they're playing Butler tonight, and they're playing on campus. I'm going to take the over 78.5. They're over 3 of the last 5 games. But if you look at the number 4 offensive efficiency in the Big East versus number 11, and the way Nova shoots the ball well, but one thing Villanova also does is they don't turn the ball over with a team that struggles the other way. So you look at a team that shoot the ball well, score, get turnovers versus a team that gives away the ball. I like the way this Villanova team is playing. And they were, listen, folks, if you watch that game versus UConn, I was there on Saturday night, it was literally about a 7-minute stretch to begin the second half. Villanova was lockstep with UConn in the first half, like step for step. And Villanova let that game get away with them early in the second half. This is a big week for Villanova. They have to play well. They got to score and win because then they got to deal with St. John's on Saturday. They cannot mess around here because this is the type of game, Kevin, if they don't win impressively, that could, ready, folks, hurt them with the committee because they don't have a lot of high-profile wins. See my point? They got to measure the eye test tonight, and they do so by scoring the ball, going over 78.5 points.
Now, Coach, I want to go back to, we're getting to the NBA slate at the top of the hour. Yesterday's results. I didn't think it was the most interesting slate going in. That I feel like maybe ended up not true. Duke scores 100 easily. Cam Boozer almost outscores Notre Dame in a half. Arizona, maybe a little bit of a scare from Baylor. Virginia obliterates NC State. Christian Anderson flirts with a 30-point triple-double against Cincinnati. UCF is still scoring, it feels like, against BYU. Mizzou with another home win as a dog. St. Louis goes down. Of those results, JY, which one was the most interesting to you from yesterday?
It was BYU because they looked so good over the weekend. And to turn around and give up 97 points and a team of things shot, I think, 55 or 60% from 3, that still shows you that we can't take BYU seriously to win, to make a deep run in March unless they get stops. They are dynamic offensively. Their offense wasn't their problem. Their offense hasn't been their problem, Kevin. They can score the ball. Even with Richie Saunders out, their ability to defend and their ability to defend the 3-point line is going to become key. Folks, I can't say this enough. The whole thing of like defensive rebounding wins championships, no. You know what it does? Scoring the 3, defending the 3. You score the ball from 3, you defend the 3 well, you can make a run. You don't defend the 3 ball well, that's a problem. And you wonder if some of these games, including Arizona with their win, they kind of struggle at times. Teams, ranked teams coming off big wins, these are still college kids. So you may have teams slip up. Those may be games you may look to bet live rather than pregame because of the fact that you may not know how they may come out and play to begin the game.
I thought the Michigan result was interesting. I think a lot of people would assume, off a loss, this team's going to be PO'd, and they're going to dominate Minnesota. I just wonder if Michigan may be a little rattled after that game. Let's get into the NBA with Coach James Young after a quick break.
do you have? Like, oh, well, we don't know, we're going to play an arbitration for our top pitcher in school ball. He gets the $30 million. You go and get Valdez, who's 32 years old, and you pay 3 years, $115. Now you have a legitimate 1-2 punch and still have Flaherty in that lineup as well. If you're looking at a move singularly that I didn't expect to happen here and loved it, Detroit's move to get Framber Valdez, sensational for me.
Pro Baseball Today, only on SportsGrid.
The expectations were big for this team coming into this season. They've struggled to live up to them. When you think about the 4 losses for Purdue, they've really felt ugly. Iowa State smashed this team in their building. They dropped the game to UCLA and followed it up by losing at home to Illinois.
Game time decisions, only on SportsGrid.
I have my own account. I don't need to have any. He didn't say any of that. So I'm of the belief that if someone accuses you of something and you don't deny it, there's a reason you didn't deny it. Because you kind of feel like they got me. And yes, I'm not going to tell you I did it, but I did it.
Yeah.
Don't you think so?
The Craig Carton Show, only on SportsGrid.
Yeah, and with the Clippers, Craig, it feels like Kawhi is on an island. We saw him ball out in the All-Star game the other day. Kawhi was very impressive, and he's had a fantastic season. I think when you look at the Clippers, if the Clippers' record was better, but he's still James Harden, you would be talking about Kawhi as an MVP candidate. He's been one of the best players in the league in terms of how he's been playing. He's been fantastic.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
All right, best bets are getting underway. Let's flash them up here for the people. AJ on UConn laying the 5.5. Chris on the over in that game, 144.5. I like solo ball over the 12.5 points. And the best bet for Sam starts as well. It's Josh Stone for a point here in Sabres Devils, as this game will have puck drop coming up very, very shortly. We're joined by Coach James Young on this Wednesday night. It is always great to have JY in the mix with us. JY does like St. John's in this big battle in the Big East that is starting very soon. But we're going to shift over to the association tonight, JY, where we have a couple of interesting games, but also a couple of games that maybe lost their luster a little bit due to the injury report and the NBA ignoring the back-to-back problem that they have. And it's legitimately pathetic, but I don't want to spend too much time on that. The Pistons are 10.5-point favorites against Oklahoma City. How are you getting involved with this game tonight?
Taking the team total under with the Thunder. You're obviously looking at the Thunder on the second leg of a back-to-back. Detroit rested. And Detroit is now in this mindset where they want to make statements night in and night out. They did it last week with the Knicks. They tried to beat up Wemby a couple of nights ago. And now they're going to look at Oklahoma City. J.B. Bickerson's got this team playing extremely physical basketball. I think they get away with it now. I don't think they get away with it when it counts in the playoffs. That'll be a story for another day when Kevin and I could talk about this probably when we get to the postseason. But for right now, I like the Detroit to hold the Thunder under their team total. I just think they make this a street fight. And I think they literally, doesn't matter who's playing, who's not playing, I think they go out there and try and make a point tonight.
Yeah, I think that is totally fair. I've referenced it. Like I said, it's irrelevant because I wouldn't still play it. I took each of the Pistons and the Cavs on the money line with Cade Cunningham, Donovan Mitchell for 20+. And then the Cavs ruled out a bunch of guys, and the one guy they didn't rule out, they announced is injured. I still can't really figure out what happened there with Harden and the whole situation. They're 3.5-point favorites. Look, I didn't get the best of the number. It happens. It is what it is.
And Kevin, before they ruled everybody out, it was like 8.5. I jumped on Milwaukee 8.5 before.
Oh, did you?
I'm like,
wow.
Yeah, like second leg of a back-to-back. And then honestly,
sure.
Now they're doing injuries. I'm like, this is just a letdown spot right here. And then all of a sudden, all these guys get injured. And you must admit, Milwaukee has been better as of late. I think this is just another chance for them to try and acquiesce and make Giannis know that, hey, we got pieces around you. You don't need to go anywhere. I don't think it matters, but I think Milwaukee has been playing better ball as of late.
Yeah, you're not wrong. Funny enough, JY, I actually I was interested in Cleveland at 8.5 because it feels to me like the Cavs have a lot to prove since adding Harden, right? It's almost like a new season for them. Mobley missing the game isn't surprising. Mobley's just coming back. I thought the rest of them would play. Donovan Mitchell's not a guy I expect to miss back-to-back, so that was a little weird. And again, they still haven't ruled out Harden, who's like injured. I don't know what's going. It's like I said, I'm telling you guys what I bet. I wouldn't bet it now. I'm just telling you where I'm at, what I thought kind of the games going in. Coach, you're going to get involved, though, with this Raptors-Spurs game tonight. I'm on a San Antonio prop, Dylan Harper for 10. What do you like on the Toronto side?
I'm going to do something that made people be like, wait, what? I'm going to Emmanuel quickly over 4.5 rebounds. Now you're like, wait a minute. The guy has gone under 6 straight games. But the Spurs are bottom 10 and rebounds per game to point guards, and they are near the bottom. I'm sorry, they're third to last, I should say, and rebounds a game to point guards. And they're bottom 10 in three-point shooting. Why do I say this? Long shots, long rebounds. If it's going to travel, IQ is a decent guy that can sniff the ball out. I like him over 4.5 rebounds tonight.
I think that's fair, JY. I think it's a sharp look, my friend. Another prop that people won't necessarily see coming probably is in this Nuggets-Celtics game for you. What's the look there?
Baylor Shireman over 6.5 points. Coming over 4 of the last 5 games. And this is why I have props sometimes, Kevin, because you know me as a coach. Styles make fights. I try to find things that teams don't do well and how another team can exploit a player. The Nuggets, first off, are bottom 10 at points per game to shooting guards. 60% of Baylor Shireman shots are catch and shoot. The Nuggets, bottom 5. And then the other thing is 41% of his shots overall, are corner threes, which we know, Kevin, has become a deadly shot in this game. And I think the Nuggets, are like 24th on one side of the floor, 27th on the other side. And this is a shooter. So I get 2 threes and a layup. He's over. Give me Baylor Shireman over 6.5 points.
JY, I have an MVP question that might be a little weird because it's so Jokic right now is plus 300, right? My current thought is that he's actually going to meet the game's requirement. He only has 1 game he could still miss. I right now don't actually think Jokic is going to miss another game. Like if Jokic misses 1 more game, he's going to miss like 11 more games. It's another big injury happened kind of situation. I think that despite what everybody likes to think is true about Jokic, he cares. He actually does care. So if I think Jokic is going to play the requirement, is that enough to basically say he's winning MVP, or does he still need to beat Shea for the award? Because that's what I right now can't figure out. Jokic is leading the NBA, if I'm not mistaken, in rebounds and assists, and is top certainly 10 in scoring. Like, if he meets the minimum, is the award his, or does Shea still have life in that race?
No, I think it's his, Kevin. And the more games he keeps playing, the more you may see 5 or so cents start chopping down that number as we get closer and closer to the finish line, because he's going to keep getting closer to the games required. Kevin, I'm of the mindset of Shea's been out, right? Mm-hmm. The guy that I keep looking at is Cade. Like, what happens? And I don't even know how many games Cade has missed. What happens if Detroit ends up with the best record in the league? Right. What happens if they win big tonight? What happens if they run away with the East? And they let's be honest, Kevin, they are running away with the East right now. Could there be a case for Cade? Now, usually you don't jump all the way up out of nowhere. You usually work your way up. But let's be honest, Kevin, until last year, Cade always missed time. So now that he's playing, and this team's playing well, and they're going to be in statement games the rest of the year, I could see Cade making a last-ditch run at this, particularly if SJ continues to miss time. If Jokic misses 1 game, you're going to see Cade's numbers fall dramatically. I would just keep Cade on your card for the time being.
I think that you are, of course, right to point out Cade. My thing with Cade, I think it seems like, JY, we all agree, though, Cade isn't beating out Shea or Jokic. Or do you think if they have the best record, even if one of those two guys meet the requirement, Cade could still win?
I think Cade could. How can I say this? I don't think Cade could beat Jokic. I think there's a better chance he beats Shea.
I think that's interesting. I think there's something
that I think
we talked about it.
Pathway. Go ahead.
We talked about it, JY, a lot with the Coach of the Year stuff, right? The second it was clear that Dagnall wasn't going to be coaching a 70-win team, he was cooked. He was cooked, right? So that's one of the interesting things about Shea, right? Is OKC might go under their win total. Are we supposed to be overwhelmed by this team winning 59 games? Significantly less than last year? It's a very interesting thing. JY, before we let you get out of here, you're involved with the Rockets tonight. What do you like?
Yeah, lift off. I'm taking the Rockets minus points. Rockets are 2-0 against spread after that rough loss in New York. And the crazy thing is, if I'm not mistaken, I think the Kings have won both matchups this year. And the Kings have nobody playing.
That's funny.
The beam is gone. Give me the Rockets minus the points. Big.
All right, little Rockets action there for JY. Coach, we appreciate it, man. We're going to get over to the ice with the help of our guy, George Kurtz, after a quick break on a Wednesday night on SportsGrid.
You have we don't know we're going to play an arbitration for our top pitcher in school ball. He gets the $30 million. You go and get Valdez, who's 32 years old, and you pay 3 years, $115. Now you have a legitimate 1-2 punch and still have Flaherty in that lineup as well. If you're looking at a move singularly that I didn't expect to happen here and loved it, Detroit's move to get Framber Valdez, sensational for me.
Pro Baseball Today, only on SportsGrid.
Expectations were big for this team coming into this season. They've struggled to live up to them. When you think about the 4 losses for Purdue, they've really felt ugly. Iowa State smashed this team in their building. They dropped the game to UCLA and followed it up by losing at home to Illinois.
Game time decisions, only on SportsGrid.
I have my own account. I don't need to have any. He didn't say any of that. So I'm of the belief that if someone accuses you of something and you don't deny it, there's a reason you didn't deny it. Because you kind of feel like they got me. And yes, I'm not going to tell you I did it, but I did it.
Yeah.
Don't you think so?
The Craig Carton Show, only on SportsGrid.
Yeah, and with the Clippers, Craig, it feels like Kawhi is on an island. We saw him ball out in the All-Star game the other day. Kawhi was very impressive, and he's had a fantastic season. I think when you look at the Clippers, if the Clippers' record was better, but he's still James Harden, you would be talking about Kawhi as an MVP candidate. He's been one of the best players in the league in terms of how he's been playing. He's been fantastic.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
Back on Game Time Decisions and back the National Hockey League. Helping us out here tonight, our guy George Kurtz. And George, it's great to have you, man, on this Wednesday night. I want to start, before we get into any of the specifics of this slate, how differently, if at all, are you going to treat tonight, tomorrow, maybe the first week back from the Olympic break?
Carefully. All right, that's the word I would use here carefully because we don't know what we don't know. I don't know how these players were playing in the Olympics, mainly on Team Canada and Team USA because they're the ones that played on Sunday. All right, I'm not really worried about the teams that played on Saturday, and there weren't as many as those players. But I'm not going to be worried about the. I'm concerned carefully because I don't know. They went. I mean, so the Team USA goes to the White House last night, so they went from Milan to Miami to Washington and now to wherever they have to play in the NHL, right? In the United States and Canada. So it's a lot of traveling here. I don't know how much sleep they've gotten. I don't know how much ice time these guys are going to get. I think that's the key there. They might play, but maybe, Kevin, if they were playing 16 minutes a night, maybe now it's 12. You know, if you're a defenseman, instead of playing 22 minutes, maybe it's 14. That sort of thing. So very carefully here. Let's not forget about the injuries. All right, major ones happening. Mikko Rantanen, Dallas Stars, top player, out a couple of weeks here. Sidney Crosby, we find out today. Yeah, he was never even close to playing in the gold medal game. He's out a month. I think that kills Pittsburgh, by the way. They're a bet against me. I think they were anyway. And then Kevin Fiala, we knew this early on in the Olympic break for the Kings, that he's out for the season as well. That hurts them. But the Kings also picked up Panarin. So we were sort of wondering how he was going to fit in there anyway. So carefully is going to be the word I would use.
Yeah, I think that's great advice. So, George, 2 games just getting underway. Did you get involved with either Washington, Philly, or New Jersey and Buffalo?
Yes, we'll start Washington Philly first. I'm on the over in that game. Now, I bet it earlier today before I found out that Tom Wilson is out. He's sick. He's not hurt. He's sick. You got those sniffles there. He'll be okay today, too. Poor Tom there. But I think I probably would have played the over anyway here. And Ovechkin, anytime goal. Remember, no team rusher in the Olympics. Ovechkin's had 2 weeks to stew. All right, so I think he scores a goal tonight. So we'll take Ovechkin and the over in this game. I'm glad I didn't take Washington to win now that Tom Wilson is out. Wilson, by the way, everybody thinks he's a goon. This guy's turned into a really good scorer for that team. Sort of drives the offense there some of the times as well. Jersey and Buffalo, it's hard not to like the Sabres. Jersey's one of those teams that I just don't know what happened to them, right? A lot of injuries there. Jack Hughes, who was hurt really off and on through most of the season, had the great Olympics, scored the game-winning goal in overtime for Team USA there. Let's see what he does tonight. I'm on Buffalo in this game. That's the bottom line here. Give me the Sabres. Really wanted to take the over as well, and I ended up doing it, just not as big a bet as I thought I would. I think I chickened out a little bit here, Kevin, but I'm on Buffalo and the over.
Yeah, I want to skip ahead for a second, George. Is Hellebuck playing tonight for Winnipeg?
They didn't announce it earlier, so let's see if they have it there. I'm going to assume yes. All right, because I think Hellebuck wants to play. I think that's part of it. They want to get him out there. And also, Winnipeg needs to win. If they want to get in the playoffs, they need to win, and Hellebuck is that guy. So I sort of assumed he was playing tonight. We will find. I'll find out for you in a minute or two if he is. Okay. But yeah. I think they're going to have him in there.
Curious.
Tonight,
I'm curious, right? Just I imagine. Again, I could be so wrong about this. We spoke to Josh Ingles a little bit. Oh, he's not playing. So
no.
Maybe because it's on the road. I wonder if that factors in. If that game was in Winnipeg. But no, you know what's weird, George? Hold on a second. What's the reaction for Connor Hellebuck first game home in Winnipeg?
Somebody brought this up about same thing for Austin Matthews in Toronto.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, yay.
Right.
And I don't blame the fans of Toronto and Winnipeg for that. Yeah, he's your player, but your country lost. And let's face it, Hellebuck's the reason you lost. That's a weird one. And by the way, let's face it, if I'm a Winnipeg Jet fan, now you play good. Right? Where were you in the first round?
Right.
Now you're fantastic. Where's that been for us? So I can see that being a lot of fans' aggravations as well. I think polite applause. Listen, I think that's fine. I'm not, as an American, I'm not going to get on, Canadian fans who have American Team USA players for, polite applause, or maybe even light booing. It's a weird, very weird circumstance that'll be going on there.
Yeah, maybe they just want to get him rest, but now I'm thinking about it, and in Vancouver, he would probably be booed mercilessly because it's a road team, so at that point you have the freedom. Like maybe against Anaheim, he gets this little thanks Hellebuck kind of moment. I hadn't really thought about that too much. George, a game that's going to be getting underway in just a little bit here is Tampa Bay and Toronto, as you mentioned with Matthews here. Do you like anything in this one tonight?
Tampa Bay, probably another one of those teams that did not want the Olympic break to come. They was 19-1-1 before the break. That's just nuts here. Head coach John Cooper Head coach John Cooper, we missed the next 2 games for Tampa Bay. By the way, his father passed away. So, our condolences to Coach Cooper there. I don't think that matters all that much here. It comes down to this. Tampa Bay, they're set, right? They may be the top seed in the Eastern Conference there. We know they're going to the playoffs. Toronto you have to start winning, man. All right, you have to start winning. Braden Point's back tonight for Tampa Bay. Once again, Vasilevsky's rested here. Kucherov's rested here. I don't know how you go in Toronto. They have to win. The game's much more important to them, but I'm going Tampa Bay in this one. Give me the Lightning.
Yeah, fair enough. George, what about the Avs and the Mammoth here? Maybe I should almost bring these together. The McKinnon, McDavid, off of the loss there. Do we just have to play these guys for points?
Now, probably. Now, McKinnon, there is some word that he may be hurt a little bit. I mean, that's why he didn't have the great Olympics. We've all seen the picture, right, of him missing the open net. That maybe they should have won that. If he hits the open net, he hits that 9 out of 10 times and missed it there. So, listen, I can't confirm that at all, but there could be a nagging injury they aren't reporting here. I've said this over and over again. You don't make a lot of money betting against Colorado, but they were sort of hitting the skids here before the Olympic break. Maybe it came at a good time for them. On the road here against a good Utah team, give me the Mammoth. Give me the Mammoth. I'm going to say the McKinnon is still a little banged up. I'm going with the dog here, and give me Utah.
I got it. It's interesting. Bunch of injuries and guys not making the ice tonight. There's some deep NBA guy part of me that wants to be like, oh, tough guys are a little tired. But I'm not going to say that. I'm not. You can't make me say it. I certainly wouldn't. Great time for a commercial break. We'll be back with George after it here on SportsGrid.
You have we don't know we're going to play an arbitration for our top pitcher in school ball. He gets the $30 million. You go and get Valdez, who's 32 years old, and you pay 3 years, $115. Now you have a legitimate 1-2 punch and still have Flaherty in that lineup as well. If you're looking at a move singularly that I didn't expect to happen here and loved it. Detroit's move to get Framber Valdez, sensational for me.
Pro Baseball Today, only on SportsGrid.
Expectations were big for this team coming into this season. They've struggled to live up to them. When you think about the 4 losses for Purdue, they've really felt ugly. Iowa State smashed this team in their building. They dropped the game to UCLA and followed it up by losing at home to Illinois.
Game time decisions, only on SportsGrid.
I have my own account. I don't need to have any. He didn't say any of that. So I'm of the belief that if someone accuses you of something and you don't deny it, there's a reason you didn't deny it. Because you kind of feel like they got me. And yes, I'm not going to tell you I did it, but I did it.
Yeah.
Don't you think so?
The Craig Carden Show, only on SportsGrid.
Yeah, and with the Clippers, Craig, it feels like Kawhi is on an island. We saw him ball out in the All-Star game the other day. Kawhi was very impressive, and he's had a fantastic season. I think when you look at the Clippers, if the Clippers' record was better, but he's still a James Harden, you would be talking about Kawhi as an MVP candidate. He's been one of the best players in the league in terms of how he's been playing. He's been fantastic.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
All right, game time decisions, and sometimes you stumble into things that you had been wanting to talk about. And my very obvious joke about the toughness of hockey players has led me to a very seriously frustrating thing, in my opinion, around baseball players. George Kurtz is here, who is an excellent guy to talk about both of these things with, because, George, there was some, it's in the eye of the beholder, I'm learning, I thought surprising news that both Tariq Skubal and Skeens, to maybe a lesser degree, but still, actually aren't committed to USA Baseball. They want a jersey, they want a hat, they want to show up, but they actually aren't here to participate. They're here to warm up. I find this to be stunning. I think you could say it borderlines on disrespect. I think it certainly is an awful look for the U.S. because we're supposed to believe this matters, and 2 of the 4 faces of the roster are telling you, doesn't really matter.
Gabe Morency and I got into this on Twitter yesterday. Well, Gabe and I are both on the same side here. I don't understand this, especially after coming off Team USA's win in hockey in the Olympics, right? You would have thought there'd be more pride to go play. I mean, the WBC is the closest thing to the Olympics that baseball has, right? Maybe they'll get in there, whatever, but they're not there yet. So I just don't understand this. When I heard this yesterday, I'm like, you're going to go 3 innings against Great Britain? Kevin, you and I could go 3 innings against Great Britain. I'm sorry, all right? They're not very good. I'm not sorry. They suck. What's the point? What's the point? He's going to throw two starts. I mean, I would disappointing. That's the word I'll be using here. Right? Carefully with your hockey betting. Disappointing as far as Skeens and Skubal are concerned. I just don't understand it. Why? Why even go there? You're probably right. They want a jersey. They want a hat, the collector's item, whatever it might be. Hey, if USA wins, we can say we were a part of it and we get a ring or whatever they give you for winning that thing. I said, terribly disappointing when I heard this. You really want to go back? I mean, Skubal said, I want to go back to Lakeland. Really? That's what you want to do? You don't want to participate in this? Wouldn't that be more fun? I'm also the first person to tell you this. I don't know how much the starting rotation matters, by the way. These guys aren't going to throw major innings. You know, we know that 3-4 innings is going to be the most they go. Yeah, bullpen probably is more important. But I guess because, Kevin, this is the first year that I'm more into the WBC. I'm looking forward to it.
Because these guys were showing up.
Yes, because they seem to care too.
They made a thing of it. See, and to what George is saying here, if you don't want to be in the WBC, just don't be in it, which is what they've to some degree been doing the whole time, right? It's why Olympic baseball at the moment doesn't matter. We'll see if it matters. We'll see if guys show up, right? But here's what's not going to – if Olympic baseball's a thing and then Aaron Judge is like, awesome, I'm on the team. By the way, I only bat in the first inning. No, you're not on the team, okay? Let's use another example that everyone will really understand. If LeBron James said, by the way, I'm going to the Olympics, I'm playing only the group games, and then I'm going to vacation – do you want to know what would be the lead story on every single show? Do you? Never mind. I'm just saying, for Skeens and for baseball, we're the stars. Cover us. Grow baseball. Either go or don't. And if you're choosing don't, that's fine. This is garbage. This tells me that when I get into a fight, this is real, with the producers, Kev, you've got to cover the World Baseball Classic, not the NBA. And this moment will be why I go, nope, Celtics Nuggets, covering that. It's garbage. Don't tell me I'm supposed to care when those guys, George, are telling me you actually shouldn't care because we could not care less.
I agree. If Skubal would have said, no, you know what? I'm going to be a free agent this year. I want to protect my, whatever you wanted to use. I want to protect my money. This way I'm not going to participate and get ramped up early. I understand that completely. All right, because you don't want to get ramped up way before you would normally have to. And you're going to make $400 million. You got to protect that wrong arm, this arm, right? I get it. And I'd be fine with that. But I just don't understand why you're showing that you're going to leave. I mean, like I said, one start against Great Britain. What is the freaking point? I just don't get it.
Yep.
And did you take a spot of somebody else now? Would somebody else have gone? Maybe Garrett Crochet would have went, right? He would have participated in the whole thing. I just don't get it. Skeens, what is your point? What is your excuse here? What, because Pirates are going to be a good team this year? Really? I'll believe that when I see it.
Yeah, at this point, let Connor Griffin on the roster then. You know what? Maybe that kid does have more pride than Paul. I don't know. I don't really understand what's going on here. It's a, and this is the thing. Either Team USA knew, awful look. They didn't know, equally bad look. We can all agree, though, now, I think, bad look. George, awesome as always. Speaking of bad looks, the Lakers next.
do you have? Like, oh, well, we don't know, we're going to play an arbitration for our top pitcher in school ball. He gets the $30 million. You go and get Valdez, who's 32 years old, and you pay 3 years, $115. Now you have a legitimate 1-2 punch and still have Flaherty in that lineup as well. If you're looking at a move singularly that I didn't expect to happen here and loved it, Detroit's move to get Framber Valdez, sensational for me.
Pro Baseball Today, only on SportsGrid.
The expectations were big for this team coming into this season. They've struggled to live up to them. When you think about the 4 losses for Purdue, they've really felt ugly. Iowa State smashed this team in their building. They dropped the game to UCLA and followed it up by losing at home to Illinois.
Game time decisions, only on SportsGrid.
I have my own account. I don't need to have any. He didn't say any of that. So I'm of the belief that if someone accuses you of something and you don't deny it, there's a reason you didn't deny it. Because you kind of feel like they got me. And yes, I'm not going to tell you I did it, but I did it.
Yeah.
Don't you think so?
The Craig Carton Show, only on SportsGrid.
Yeah, and the Clippers, Craig, it feels like Kawhi is on the island. We saw him ball out in the All-Star game the other day. Kawhi was very impressive, and he's had a fantastic season. I think when you look at the Clippers, if the Clippers' record was better, but he's still at James Harden, you would be talking about Kawhi as an MVP candidate. He's been one of the best players in the league in terms of how he's been playing. He's been fantastic.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
Game time decisions back with you here on this Wednesday night, and I think the USA pitching staff machinations are a nice little leadway into what is one of the lead stories in sports right now, which is the Lakers and just the fact that they don't look impressive at all. The Lakers haven't really looked impressive for much of this season. Again, I think we did quite a nice job a week ago on Game Time Decisions, talking about 7 second-half storylines to follow, and one of the obvious talking points was going to be this Lakers Big Three and what it looks like when they actually get LeBron and Luka and Reeves all out on the floor together. And it may not be totally fair to say the results are in, but I think we all somewhat feel that they are, because it's probably confirmation bias in an acceptable way that this team doesn't feel like they have it. When Luka showed up as a Laker, it was stunning. And the fact that the roster wasn't built perfectly was acceptable, because who in the world knew Luka Doncic was going to be on the team out of nowhere? And there wasn't a ton of time to then make that all work. They tried a Mark Williams deal. It ultimately fell through. It's still one of the more bizarre things, but it's fine. But the Lakers had a decision to make coming into this season, and it was, did they want to compete for a championship this season? And they decided not to. And it still kind of feels like that decision is tied to spiting LeBron a little bit. It's either that or Pelinka is scared to make actual moves and he just needs layups to fall in his lap. The way LeBron deciding to be a Laker and Luka getting traded to the Lakers, or the clutch crew facilitating AD getting to Los Angeles, all just fell into his lap. But they punted on an opportunity to be a true, legitimate contender this year, and don't tell me that that was a useless exercise when it right now feels like the Spurs are legitimate contenders. There is no reason that the Lakers looking to contend is something they should pause on through the lens of LeBron. They are supposed to do everything through the lens of Luka. And it appears the Lakers' thought is, don't worry about winning games this year, Luka, or last year. Worry about a year from now. It's going to all work out. We're going to have cap space, even though nobody actually is ever a free agent, and it'll be fine. And the problem now with that is when we look at this Lakers trio, the way they right now read on the court, the results that they give you on a night-to-night basis, one, if not multiple of the three, can't actually be as good as the consensus thinks they are. Reeves is a top 40 player in the league. LeBron is a top 30 player in the league by consensus opinions. And Luka is a top 5 player in the league. Again, by the consensus. And yet, that can't all be true, and this look the way it does. And if I right now had to zero in on one of those, hate to say it, it looks like Luka, who looks like a mess. Luka Doncic yesterday was atrocious. He is talented, plus has the ball so dang much, he doesn't really have bad statistical games. So it might feel unfair for a guy who is 22, 9, and 15 to be the main focus of what was going wrong, but it is what was going wrong. Luka Doncic is so focused on everything else that I watched still one of the best players in the league, whether it's 5 or 10, lose any ability to make free throws because he was focused on complaining about Paolo Banchero, whether he was or was not committing a lane violation during those free throws. You can watch it happen, and Luka proceeded for the rest of the game to not be able to make free throws. And then you get to that end of game shot where Luka Doncic loves the ball and prefers difficult deep threes, hesitate on a deep three. And he in the moment seems to not be sure why he did it. I think I can answer. There was no one around for him to jump into and try and create a foul. That's truly, honestly, where I think it went wrong for Luka. That is a disaster for a guy of his talent level. And it all just feels so off right now. But what is so important to understand is this team, this trio, right now feels like they are receiving validation that they don't work together. And Luka, for the time being, is going nowhere. And Reeves is looking forward to signing a big extension in Los Angeles. And LeBron leaving is something that we've been talking about for a bit. And what this really then means when we put together the list of potential LeBron landing spots for next season, and we keep the Lakers on that list, they start to fall down that list further and further and further. And it means that when we go to the prediction markets and we try and figure out where LeBron is going to go, and it feels, we've said this for a while now, right, on this show, that it's going to be Cleveland, it's going to be Cleveland, Cleveland's the favorite. But you know who's now in front of the Lakers in these markets? The Knicks. And they should be. Because step one here in this whole LeBron leaving the Lakers is just he is leaving. And now this feels like the LeBron leaving is now not just about the off-court stuff. The fact that they are kind of actually poorly ran and have no idea what they're doing and are somehow trying to prove that they don't need LeBron, except for the reality is they absolutely desperately needed LeBron to save them from a black hole that they dug themselves into. It's that now the on-court stuff doesn't work. So now, instead of, oh, I'm leaving just to go to Cleveland, LeBron's like, I'm leaving because I'm leaving. And if all of a sudden Cleveland with Harden are in a different spot, it means the Knicks are worth talking about. And honestly, it then means maybe 2 or 3 other teams can enter the conversation, like Steph in Golden State or Durant in Houston or AD and a budding clutch relationship in Washington. You guys watch Lakers Magic and think, man, that was, ugly loss for the Lakers, or hey, we lost the team total on LA. And all of that is true. But it is also true we have never been closer to LeBron's exit, and I, for one, cannot wait. We'll be right back. It's Game Time Decisions on SportsGrid.
You have like, oh, well, we don't know we're going to play an arbitration for our top pitcher in school ball. He gets the $30 million. You go and get Valdez, who's 32 years old, and you pay 3 years, $115. Now you have a legitimate 1-2 punch and still have Flaherty in that lineup as well. If you're looking at a move singularly that I didn't expect to happen here and loved it, Detroit's move to get Framber Valdez, sensational for me.
Pro Baseball Today, only on SportsGrid.
Expectations were big for this team coming into this season. They've struggled to live up to them. When you think about the 4 losses for Purdue, they've really felt ugly. Iowa State smashed this team in their building. They dropped the game to UCLA and followed it up by losing at home to Illinois.
Game Time Decisions, only on SportsGrid.
I have my own account. I don't need to have any. He didn't say any of that. So I'm of the belief that if someone accuses you of something and you don't deny it, there's a reason you didn't deny it. Because you kind of feel like they got me. And yes, I'm not going to tell you I did it, but I did it.
Yeah.
Don't you think so?
The Craig Carton Show, only on SportsGrid.
Yeah, and with the Clippers, Craig, it feels like Kawhi is on an island. We saw him ball out in the All-Star game the other day. Kawhi was very impressive, and he's had a fantastic season. I think when you look at the Clippers, if the Clippers' record was better, but he's still at James Harden, you would be talking about Kawhi as an MVP candidate. He's been one of the best players in the league in terms of how he's been playing. He's been fantastic.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
All right, folks, you know what time it is, man. Cam Stewart with us here on Game Time Decisions. Absolutely always one of my favorite things that we get to do here on this show. And, Cam, we got quite a bit on the menu tonight, including the return of the NHL. I'm sure you're involved quite a bit.
I am, Kevin, and it's very interesting, too. People are like, hey, what's going to happen after the Olympic break? Lousy play, sloppy play, defensive. Well, offensive, they're thinking it's 0-0 in the second period between Flyers and Capitals. The Sabres and Devils haven't scored a goal. Leafs and Lightning just started 3 minutes in. We have not had a goal in the National Hockey League through periods and change. So all those people, we're coming back from the Olympic break. Hey, buddy, what are we going to do? Oh, yeah, 7 of 5 games. know what I've learned, Kevin, gambling over the years? Usually the opposite happens a lot of the time. You know what I mean? A lot of people stacking up like high scoring games, tired guys, whatever. But you know what? Sometimes you can look at it from another perspective. You're thinking, okay, well, we are tired. We've had a break. We got to ease back into this thing. So attention to detail and defense is a way before you get your cardio and everything back. But these guys are good athletes. We'll see what happens in the late games. But so far, goose eggs.
Yeah, that's interesting. I actually hadn't realized that we're still waiting on someone somewhere to score. It'll be interesting, though, if there becomes a bunch of people online who are like, oh, my God, guys, every game's going under that 10 o'clock window.
Yeah.
9 goals, 8 goals, 7 goals. Boom, 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 boom.
Yeah. And Anaheim and Edmonton, 14 combined goals. Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
What a game.
Or even it'll be even better like tomorrow, whole slate. It's just every single thing to the over, which will be a delight to watch. All right, Cam, let's talk some golf here, man. Look, I have now been talking golf with Cam for a couple of years. So, he's great at it. But there are some close calls, and it's tough because with golf, you're very rarely dealing with, when you get a bad beat on an NBA card, right? Yeah, all right, what the bet cost you? 25, 50, 100. Golf is a different animal. But because Cam is true to this game, picks himself up, dusts himself off, from an outright perspective, the rest of the stuff comes in, and he's right back at it here at the Cognizant, Cam.
Yeah, I got to tell you, the Tommy Fleetwood top 10s and Adam Scott top 20, and I told you I was all over Rory McIlroy. Finished second, one shot beyond the bridge. Jacob Bridgman getting it done this year from Clemson. We say every year there's that guy, and I'll tell you, Jacob Bridgman right now is playing fantastic golf. He actually just withdrew from the tournament too, Kevin. I was going to bet him this week. I'm like, why not? Because the guy actually has a good record in Florida. But this is where we go. We go from California all the way across the country. Now we're going to Florida. What happens in Florida? Lots of winds. Lots of water. Very different golf than desert golf. We're having guys, pure ball strikers. If you notice a theme to my card this week, a lot of Euros and a lot of low ball hitters and guys, iron play. That's the key at PGA National and the Bear Trap. You need iron play. If you're loose with your irons, man, you're going to get murdered because when that wind pops up, you're dead. Water, trouble everywhere, Kevin. Great live betting tournament as well. So I'm going to start with Aaron Rai, a guy that obviously is one of the best ball strikers on tour. I'm getting 42-1 in a weekend field too. So I really like Rai this week. All I know is he hits a lot of fairways, greens, and every single week he seems to be in the mix. Mac Measer's a guy that Brady Cannon and I talk about. He will break out. In Florida, he has a really good record. Also a guy that stripes his irons, low ball hitter. He can play in the wind. If I were to tell you who's the 4th rated golfer in world golf ranking heading into this tournament, Michael Brennan, I'm like, what? Yeah, like there's a lot. Scotty's not there. Other guys are there. Michael Brennan is 60-1, and I'm looking at the card going, I did a show with Carver earlier. I'm like, I'm taking Michael Brennan at 60-1. He's already won on the PGA Tour. And, old Cole Kane, Eric Cole's back. It's not the Honda. It's the Cognizant, but I got problems. Eric Cole, let me tell you about this guy losing in a playoff. Bet him, Walsh. He's going to be there in this tournament. He loves Florida golf. Now we're going to go have a little bit of fun, too. We got, what do you got? Matt Wallace at 70-1, another Brit. And I told you about Eric Cole. He plays better in Florida than he does in California. Top 10 markets. This one's for you and your dad. Hey, hey, Walsh, what do we got? The Irish Bear. Hey, Mr. Walsh, serve me up a Guinness and a pot pie, please. It's time to party with Shane Lowry. He lives in the area. This is his home course. Love him at plus 190 for a top 10. I'm going to give you a parlay, Kev. What do we got here? People are going, what's Daniel Berger and Brooks Koepka? They're both Florida State Seminoles. They both played at this course a lot. So 2 Florida State Seminoles. Berger time at plus 150 for a top 20, and Brooks Koepka in a weekend field at plus 160 for a top 20. I'm in. 2 Brits, John Perry. People are like, what? Is he the lead singer of Journey? No, he's John Perry. He's fine, and every week he's on the leaderboard. And Jordan L. Smith, it sounds made up. Is this guy my financial advisor? No, he's actually a really good player in Europe that I watch every single week. And I'll tell you something. I'd rather than watch Rory McIlroy miss 8 putts of, 6 feet or under. Give my money to John L. Smith, my new financial advisor. First round leaders, Thor Bjornsson. That means Thunder Bear. In Florida, 45-1. This guy is very good from Stanford. Sammy Valimaki, the big hitting Finn at 60-1. How is this name not the best name in golf? What's your name? It's almost like Eddie the Eagle. My name's Blades Brown. I'm like, what? Blades Brown. Yeah, that's like Blades. Like the guy's playing Blades. His name's Blades Brown, double B. 80-1. Watch out for him. He's hot. And Sam Ryder's on the storm. Another great Florida player. loves to play early. You know what it is, Kev? Some guys just come out of the gate on Thursday and Friday and feel good about themselves, and you try to find those guys with good Thursday, Friday averages. Sam Ryder fits the bill.
Amazing, amazing, amazing. Cam, I'm very curious. I see you're on Brooks there from a top 20 perspective. I was talking with Brady earlier this week about just kind of, most famous guy in this tournament to second most. That gap for Brooks here is pretty big. What kind of chance do you give him, even if he's not on your outright card, but to go low, be in the mix on Sunday here this weekend?
I give him a chance to obviously be a top 10, 20 player. I don't think he's going to win this golf tournament. I'll tell you one thing. The one thing about Brooks Koepka that's setting him back since he's come over from LIV has been that putter. Once Brooks Koepka starts getting into form putting, his ball striking will be there. That's the whole thing. He misses too many putts right now. He'll get back into the competition. Kevin, a very popular pick this week, Ryan Gerard. Watch out for him. I just hated his odds. I'm like, I used to get Ryan Gerard when I came on with you at 80 and 100 to 1. The guy's 18 to 1. I'm sorry. I love Ryan Gerard. I'm the president of his fan club. But I'll tell you, I can't bet a guy at 18 to 1, and Lowry's odds too. Have you noticed something with the books? These guys are squeezing you on golf. I'm not playing as many guys as I used to. 4 or 5 outrights, and then we'll play the top 10, 20 markets. That's the way we're going to roll.
Yeah, these numbers move quite a bit, but that's why you have to follow what someone like Cam Stewart lets you know, man, because it's absolutely fantastic information for what's been a really, really fun PGA Tour start to the season. Cam, we appreciate it. As always, we'll get you guys best bets on the other side here. Game Time Decisions.
You have we don't know we're going to play an arbitration for our top pitcher in school ball. He gets the $30 million. You go and get Valdez, who's 32 years old, and you pay 3 years, $115. Now you have a legitimate 1-2 punch and still have Flaherty in that lineup as well. If you're looking at a move singularly that I didn't expect to happen here and loved it, Detroit's move to get Framber Valdez, sensational for me.
Pro Baseball Today, only on SportsGrid.
Expectations were big for this team coming into this season. They've struggled to live up to them. When you think about the 4 losses for Purdue, they've really felt ugly. Iowa State smashed this team in their building. They dropped the game to UCLA and followed it up by losing at home to Illinois.
Game Time Decisions, only on SportsGrid.
I have my own account. I don't need to have any. He didn't say any of that. So I'm of the belief that if someone accuses you of something and you don't deny it, there's a reason you didn't deny it. Because you kind of feel like they got me. And yes, I'm not going to tell you I did it, but I did it.
Yeah.
Don't you think so?
The Craig Carton Show, only on SportsGrid.
Yeah, and with the Clippers, Craig, it feels like Kawhi is on an island. We saw him ball out in the All-Star game the other day. Kawhi was very impressive, and he's had a fantastic season. I think when you look at the Clippers, if the Clippers record was better, but he's still at James Harden, you would be talking about Kawhi as an MVP candidate. He's been one of the best players in the league in terms of how he's been playing. He's been fantastic.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
All right, let's collect ourselves. All right? We got one segment here, and we got to try and figure some stuff out. Because there's a couple of interesting spots here at the half of the College Board. I want to start with Texas, Florida. 39-36, Texas leads. What's the difference in this game right now? Pretty close game. Couple of more turnovers. Not really, just one more turnover for... I would say, just looking at this box score right now, the big difference here, aside from Florida's bad three-point shooting, which is always bad, is they're not grabbing a bunch of offensive rebounds. The offensive rebounding numbers being the exact same with Texas is going to give Texas a little bit more life in this game. I still think Florida wins. I'm not looking to rebet right now. Florida at 3.5, albeit interesting. I may look for a, if it ever comes, plus price live on Florida. But also, maybe I'm wrong about the game. So I'm going to leave that one right now at distance. UConn looks great. They were up 21. I think St. John's may actually be thrilled to cut this down to 15. Their 2-point shooting in this game has been horrific. Free throw shooting, usually not good. It's not good. But getting one combined point from Zuby Ejiofor and Dylan Mitchell, I mean, you just can't survive that. This is one of these games where it could tilt, right? And UConn ends up winning by 30, or St. John's makes a run. At 13.5, looking at these live numbers, St. John's is a little interesting to me. I wonder what a live team total on the Johnnies is right now. At 26, live it is 64.5. So you would need 39. I would probably rather take the 13.5. I may not, but that's where I would look right now. Vanderbilt's got it going on against Georgia, 42-35, high scoring early right now in that one. Though not, really anywhere off the pace that was anticipated going into the game. Nebraska up 33-27. Nebraska, for me, has really fallen out of any type of national conversation. They lose all of the bigger games that they play. They've got a West Coast trip remaining. Curious how they fare at USC, at UCLA. I think that'll be a little bit more interesting for us to follow. Live on the ice right now, Cam Stewart alerted us to this. Nobody's scored yet. Nobody has scored yet. First period scoreless in Buffalo and New Jersey. First period scoreless in Philadelphia, Washington. And halfway through this first period in Tampa Bay and Toronto, we are scoreless as well. That is very interesting and certainly something I think that is right now worth keeping your eye on. Live on the NBA board right now, San Antonio up a light 4 points on the Raptors, 16-12. Victor Wembanyama with 4 points early on. De'Aaron Fox may be going to deliver in a bounce-back spot here. He had a rough shooting night in the win against Detroit. He's 3 for 4 early, good for 6 points. Back and forth they go in OKC, Detroit. I don't think the Thunder lay down and die necessarily in this game, which could be good as somebody who needs Cade Cunningham for 20, a part of a parlay piece. Jalen Duren, setting the tempo a little bit with 8 points, leading all scorers. Golden State is up on Memphis. You want to talk about a fake basketball team? The Warriors are the fakest over 500 team. What I mean by that is their games feel real. They feel useless. They don't feel real. They feel useless. They beat Denver. Who cares? They lose to New Orleans. Who cares? Just let somebody know when Steph Curry is back. That's just kind of where we are. And I don't really know when Steph Curry is supposed to be back. Middle March at OKC on a Saturday night, maybe? Again, does it matter? Play in Steph, I guess he'll be back this year. That's just the way things look right now. I don't know. That top 6, not the order, but who is going to be in that top 6 may be settled right now in the Western Conference. I think that's interesting. Still to come on the NBA board tonight, it's the Rockets and the Kings. Coach James Young joined us earlier, told us he likes Houston. We've got Cleveland and Milwaukee. That number still dropping and moving towards Milwaukee. The starting lineup for Cleveland, I actually still have not seen. I have no idea if James Harden is going to be playing tonight for the Cavs. And I don't... Oh, no, there we go. Did they announce this earlier? Dennis Schroeder in the starting lineup. Oh, boy. Here's what I do know. Late tonight, over 228.5. Nuggets, Celtics. I think this game's a rocket ship, and I hope you do as well. Root it in. We'll see you tomorrow on Game Time Decisions.